just buries her face in the tissue, which the detective later testified remained completely dry.
Yo, I touched that tissue she was sobbing into and there were no tears. Today we're gonna be trying something new. If you guys like these, maybe we'll do them again. Since you guys said you were interested in me going through criminal cases, I'm gonna try one. So if you like it, you have to let me know. You have to let me know in the comments, because this is something new I'm doing. I don't know if YouTube will push it or not, because they'll be like, oh, you're doing a new thing. I do know that some of these are a lot darker in content. They're not as lighthearted. Some of them are very silly. But some of them are very grueling as well. We're going to try it once. And if people aren't for it because it's got darker themes, that's fine. Anyways. This is from JCS Criminal Psychology, and this is called Jennifer's Solution.
What makes the case of Jennifer Pan unique among others in the true crime genre is the overabundance of raw footage freely available in the public domain. There is over 11 hours of material that not only recounts her entire life in meticulous detail, but gives us considerable insight into her psychopathological state. Jennifer herself will narrate her own story in this video, which is the reason the following lead-up segment will be condensed, as a brief outline is all that is needed before delving into the extraordinary mind of this individual. Jennifer was born in Markham, Ontario, where she was raised with her older brother in a middle-class household.
Sorry about this, guys, but there's dicks on this hill. Just thought I should let you know. Yeah, there's dicks on this hill. Can't be good, all right? Cannot be good.
Her parents, Beek and Han, were originally from Vietnam, and their method of parenting was strict. Very strict. What some might even class as authoritarian. Success and achievement from their children were seen as outright obligations, whether it be in academics or extracurricular activity. And some might argue these expectations took precedence over the well-being of the children themselves.
Yes. Just so you guys know, it is very common that anybody who commits a crazy act has trauma. Usually from how they are treated, or they are mentally unwell. Like, you know, a lot of times they are born with mental unwellness and also treated badly by their parents. So we could have sympathy for them and also say, like, they deserve to be locked up.
Jennifer initially took the imposed pressure in her stride and put everything she had into figure skating. She had exceptional talent, and
Does it justify it? Maybe no. This, I will tell you, spoilers, it doesn't in any of these, for sure.
One point was expected to compete in the Winter Olympics, but she suffered a serious knee injury at the age of 14 and was told she could no longer compete. Her dreams were cut short, but of more concern was that her parents' expectations now had to be met through the more traditional route of education. And the issue was that Jennifer wasn't anywhere near as academically gifted as she was athletic. She was averaging a C- when her parents wanted straight A's. So
Bro, and the other thing is like, she might have been smart, right? But if you're spending so much time, like so much of your free time, like trying to be athletic, you know, you might be really tired when you get to school, right? You only got so much time. I know C is a passing grade, but her parents are strict, right?
Rather than communicate with them, she decided to meet their expectations under false pretenses and began faking her test results. This led to her faking her end-of-year report cards, which eventually led to her faking a high school diploma, and then a university—
God damn! She was faking it till she made it, like, early, man.
The acceptance letter to study pharmacology. In the abstract world of her parents, Jennifer was on her way to a noble and well-paid career in medical healthcare.
Oh my God. See, here's the problem. Let's say she gets away with it. The second she goes to learn this in college, it's going to be so over her head, she's not going to be able to pass anything. You can only get so far before it's like people are going to know that you don't know what the f you're doing, especially in a degree like that. Like, oof.
In reality, she was a high school dropout living with her drug dealer boyfriend, whom she had been dating in secret for almost 8 years.
Wow. I wonder when he came in the picture. Was it while she was doing really good with, like, the skating and stuff, or after? Because 8 years is a long time.
She was eventually found out in 2010 when her parents discovered she had been living a double life, and was then given an ultimatum. At 24 years old, she had to choose between one of two options. Option one was that she had to live at home under a strict regime.
Yeah, that's a no. That's a no from me, dog. Yeah, no, that option A sucks dick. What's the next one?
All contact with her boyfriend, and only leave the house to go back to school and pursue an education.
Jesus, all right. So she's just gonna be like an indentured servant to her parents. Like, Father, may I please leave the house to hang out with Wendy next door. I've done all my homework, I swear.
Option 2 was that she could do whatever she wanted, but she would then be disowned from her family. She could never return home, and all financial support would cease immediately. Jennifer evidently decided neither option would suffice, so she created option number 3. She had her boyfriend arrange a mock home invasion, where 3 of his acquaintances would enter the Pan household and stage a robbery gone wrong. The two
my lord.
instructions were to first ransack the home and then the parents. The planned date was Monday the 8th of November, with the scheduled...
Like, keep in mind, you guys are like, oh, she didn't have any freedom, so the only option was to control all the parents.
Time being roughly 11 p.m. Jennifer would unlock the front door, and 3 figures were caught on a neighbor's surveillance camera entering the home at 11:05. They were then seen running out just under 18 minutes later. It was at that exact time 911 received a call from the same household.
Where are you, ma'am? Please just go. Ma'am, calm down. What? Some people broke into our house.
See, I could have been this guy with my communications, but I was like, that's too much. I will lose my hair.
Ma'am, where are you? What? Avenue Road. Yes. Can you spell the street name for me, please? Dad? Ma'am. Hello?
Yeah, this is very, very sad.
Ma'am, I need to know your address. Avenue Road, can you please spell? In Helen Avenue, my dad just went outside screaming. Ma'am, can you spell the street address for me, please?
The thing that really gets me, though, is like, what did you think was going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, you hired people to take them out, and now you're surprised that they came over and took them out.
L-E-N. Someone broke in and I heard shots like pops. I don't know what's happening. I'm tied upstairs.
Beek Pan was shot twice, once in the neck and once in the head. She was killed immediately. The father, Han, was also shot twice.
Yeah, that's true. She could be acting as well, right? Because she did say she wanted this to happen, so, like, trying to look innocent in this scenario is the only way you're not going to get caught for it, to be fair.
Once in the shoulder and once in the face. He astonishingly survived and was put into an induced coma once he arrived at the hospital.
Oh,
Jennifer was
awful.
taken to the same hospital as a precaution, but was soon cleared of injury. She sat by her father's bedside for roughly 3 hours before she was taken to the Markham police station to give a statement as a witness.
I want to go through a form with you. It may seem kind of, why you're doing this, but this is it's like you're swearing to tell the truth about what you're going to talk to me about, and it's also going to explain to you the penalties for not telling the truth. I don't expect you to help me, but for a homicide investigation, anyone who's very close to the investigation, we do this with. Okay, so this isn't suspecting that you're not going to tell the truth. This is more of a feature that you understand the importance of telling the complete truth.
Jennifer is not a suspect at this moment. She is only giving a voluntary statement under oath. She has not read her right to silence, but instead informed of her rights as a witness. She is basically told that fabricating evidence with the intent to mislead is an offense. After reading the notification off paper, the detective gives Jennifer a more human explanation of the instruction.
What I've just explained to you is you're here voluntarily to help us. That you don't have to talk to us if you don't want to, but the importance of talking to us, and if you're talking to us, the importance of telling the truth.
Okay, this guy is good cop. Because he's being nice, he's trying to make it look like, oh, it's really nice of you to come in. Like, right after this just happened, it's really, you've come in here voluntarily, you didn't have to, in order to help clarify this, right? So he's gassing her up a little bit. He's saying, like, we appreciate your time type of thing, right?
And if you don't tell the truth, there's criminal consequences for not telling the truth.
Yeah, but he's also laying down the line like, but you have to do this, right?
It's all that stuff had to deal with. Okay?
The investigator then leaves to get the Commissioner of Oaths, which is for the purpose of swearing in the witness, but he first brings in a box of Kleenex. This is universally recognized as getting startled.
Yeah, she does look very scared.
Yet the official term in neurophysiology is the startle reflex via auditory stimulus.
Bro, I have that like every day. Guys, my cat startled me while I was hyperfixating. I had what is called the startle reflex via auditory stimulus reaction.
Hyperarousal from a traumatic event can often exaggerate this response in a manner similar to how Jennifer reacted to the sound of the door.
Makes sense, right? So even if you are dealing with a lot of trauma, you might have exaggerated emotions, right? This is fake, though. Obviously, I don't know, man. I'm no expert, but that looked kind of real to me. Who knows?
This is universally recognized as
I don't know. I could see her being startled if she was thinking, like, even if she was guilty, like, thinking of ways to get out of it, thinking of what she should say.
Commissioner Wilkes with York Regional Police. I'm here so you can give a truthful statement, either by solemn affirmation or swearing on the Bible. Which do you prefer?
Swearing on the Bible.
Okay, just put your hand on the Bible. Do you, Jennifer Pan, swear that the evidence you shall give on this investigation shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Once Jennifer is sworn in, the lead investigator returns to collect the statement.
Now I want you to
I wonder if that is typical, like that's how they always do a sworn statement or not.
sort of take
To be touching the Bible and it catches fire, like, oh.
yourself back to earlier on today, yesterday, meaning the 8th of November, and tell me about your day. Okay, start at any point in time, wherever you feel comfortable, and then we're gonna move forward. Okay.
Yesterday, probably around 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:30, my mother, she woke me up and she told me that she was going to visit my grandfather.
Throughout the day, Jennifer explains that she practiced piano, studied piano history, talked on the phone with her friends, and
This is already a problem. The fact that you have so much memory of the mundane events that happened before your parents got like that, like the fact that you could talk for so long about it is concerning. Because most of the time, when people are traumatized, their memory is actually usually worse. We know this because eyewitness accounts are usually not accurate. That's why this can be concerning.
had dinner with her parents. Her mother left for line dancing at 8 p.m. and returned home at about 9:30, at which time Jennifer was alone in her room watching TV, ready to go to sleep.
And then suddenly I just heard my mom calling for my dad to come down. And that's when I lowered the volume on my TV, and I could hear the voices weren't any voices I was very familiar with. And so I was scared and I couldn't move. I just sat in my room for a while. And then I thought I heard them all leave the top floor, and I peered out of my bedroom door. And a guy was there, and he came at me and had string in his hands and tied my arms back and said, "I have a behind your back."
She's also being very specific, by the way. This is really helpful in a criminal case because if they find evidence that this did not happen, then you know she's lying.
Do what I say. If you do what I say, then no one will get hurt. Where is the money? Show me where your money is. My mom kept trying to get up, and they kept telling her, "Sit down." And so I didn't want her to get hurt, so I told her, "Mom, sit down." They were trying to find her wallet, but her English isn't good, so she kept saying purse. They kept pushing her down onto the chair.
Okay. Take your time. Take your time. All this is very important, so take your time.
I wonder if they're gonna say the secret about Kleenexes. Okay, there's a... All right, there is a little thing about Kleenexes that I've heard that law do. And it's checking to see if you're actually crying or not. Because a lot of people are really convincing at fake crying. But if you're really crying, you will have real fucking snot coming out of your face.
Jennifer's nonverbal communication up to this point has made sense, and the reflection of her mother's last moments seems to push her over the edge. It could be assumed the detective still considers Jennifer a victim at this moment, but in the next moment, he will start becoming suspicious.
If you're a good detective, you always consider the fact that she really could be innocent. You have to be very level-headed, even though this girl could be a evil SOB that took out her parents. You have to take that out of it. Like, you have to keep logic forefront and consider that she could be a victim.
They kept all the lights off on the main floor.
Oh yeah, she's being really specific.
The only time there was light was when they opened the fridge door to see if they could find where my mom's purse was.
Take yourself back to a moment in your life when you have been overwhelmingly upset about something.
He's going to say the same thing. You're not going to remember all the details because you are going to be stressed the fuck out. For the most part, you are not going to remember everything in like perfect detail.
And at the same time, were trying to explain to someone why you were upset. You wouldn't quietly and reservedly convey the events. You would likely blurt them out in a forceful and disordered manner.
Yes, also notice that she's got like, other than the, crying for a minute, she's got the same tone as what she was talking about, like her piano lessons earlier and everything leading up to this point. This part would be the hardest to relay. You would mean multiple breaks, right?
Your sole focus would be on processing your thoughts and conveying them into speech. The emotional turbulence of severe hysteria and grief makes it very difficult to convey thought into actual dialogue, and the simple wording of a sentence becomes very challenging. Jennifer seems to find her words easily and executes her sentences perfectly.
One of the gentlemen asked my father if he had money in his wallet and where his wallet was.
Interesting that she knows it's a guy when all the lights are off and stuff like that. I mean, I guess voices, right? But also, why gentlemen?
So they took me, because I was next to the stairwell, they took me...
I'd be like one of these kid McGee's.
...the stairs to show them where my father's wallet was, but I didn't know. They had turned the room upside down. I didn't know where his pants were at that time.
The intruders retrieve $1,100 from the master bedroom and then tie Jennifer to the upstairs banister.
Next thing I know, I think I heard my parents going down the stairs, and my mom was asking them for me to come with them.
So she was tied with her hands behind her back, and then they moved her to the banister?
They wouldn't let me come with them. And after they said, the last things I heard them say was, "You lied. You lied to us. You lied to us." And then I heard 2 pops. My mom screamed. I yelled out for her. And a couple more pops.
Take your time. Take your time.
And I think I heard my mom say or moan or something, and then they did one more before they left, and then one of the guys said, "We have to go now. It's been too long."
She is so well rehearsed, by the way. Like, considering she is crying, she really keeps her thoughts together.
And then they ran out the door, and I think once they were out the door, I heard my dad go up the stairs, and at that point...
Jennifer has clearly gotten her story straight beforehand, yet in the next moment appears to realize how unusual it is that she was able to make a phone call when her hands were tied behind her back to a banister.
Wait! Wait, I didn't even catch that.
Hands were tied behind her back to a banister. She hesitates, stutters, and even looks to the detective for approval twice before she quickly moves on.
The fact that she is able to realize she made a mistake like that after talking like so long, this is so premeditated.
I had my phone on me, behind me.
I had but it was behind,
that I had hidden there that they didn't know about. So
yeah, also she stops crying for a minute because she realizes she fucked up.
My phone on me, behind me, that I had hidden there that they didn't know about. So when I thought that they had heard them,
oh man, now she's really having a hard time. Now she's stuttering suddenly.
I'll leave, and my dad ran up the stairs. I whipped up the phone and I called 911. But I still hadn't heard anything from my mom, and all I could hear was my dad running on the street, just moaning and making sounds.
Bro, she's like, I need to cry again. I don't know if I missed my crying quota.
The detective then breaks the event down into components and has Jennifer go through each moment in more detail. The first of which is the appearance of the intruders. Jennifer now describes the one who appeared to be in charge.
Also, keep in mind, this guy's... I don't think he's written anything down, has he? Maybe he did. Doesn't look like it. He's remembering all of this.
The only thing I can remember was him was he had dreadlocks.
He had dreadlocks. So are you...
Interesting, because he was in the dark, right? Weren't they in the dark?
Can you describe his race to me?
He was black.
Was his head covered? Was his face covered? Do you remember anything about that?
Just that his dreadlocks were like kind of like flopping all over the place. I couldn't really see his face, and they kept the lights dark as much as possible.
Did he have a gun?
Yes.
Did you see the gun?
I only saw the top part of the gun.
What did it look like?
Kind of, it was black.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you know where the other guys involved in this are?
I know one stayed with my parents downstairs.
Okay.
The other one, I'm not, at that point in time, I was more focused on him, like, he was seeing me and he was coming after me.
So you're saying there's 3 for sure?
Yes.
That's all, you saw a total of 3 at one time, you saw 3 people together?
Yes, when I went downstairs, I
Okay.
saw 3 shadows.
She details the appearances of the other 2 assailants, whom she asserts were also black males. The detective then brings her back to the one in charge.
Now the first guy who spoke to you, what kind of, did he have any accent? Was
None
it
that
clear?
I could make out.
Was it clear English?
English,
Unbroken?
unbroken.
No accent?
From the terms he used, I didn't get to pick up an accent, no. He used
So-
short phrases.
He sounded Canadian.
I would say, yes, he was born here.
He was born here.
She asserts that the second intruder didn't speak, while the third had a Caribbean accent. She then goes on to say she was taken downstairs for a brief moment.
I wonder why he's asking her that. Maybe he's trying to figure out because, I don't know if you would remember this if you were so traumatized if they've spoken before. Like, maybe that's why. That's my guess. Like, I'm wondering why he's going down this way of thought, right? My guess is he's trying to figure out how much she's familiar with them. Because, like, if you're really traumatized and you know, things are happening that quickly, like, why would you know all of their characteristics so well? That's my guess.
And saw her parents under guard in the living room. Her father was asked where his wallet was, and he told them it was in the master bedroom. Jennifer was then taken back upstairs alone with 2 of the assailants to help them find it. They don't find the wallet, but instead retrieve a pile of cash from inside the nightstand. Jennifer was then tied to the upstairs banister and left alone as the intruders went back down.
And the next thing I can hear are them telling my parents to move to the basement.
Okay.
And I'm asking them, why, where are you going? And my mom's yelling to me, I want my daughter. Why can't my daughter come too? I want my daughter.
Jennifer then hears one of the intruders yell, "You lied to us."
Who do you hear yelling, "You lied to us," or to that
Number
extent?
3.
Number 3.
Yeah. It's really interesting how she's able to make out, like, out of all 3 of them, who is yelling. Like, even short phrases all the way from the basement, right? Unless she knew these people or had spoken to them more than once.
3.
I'm assuming it's to my father. Because he was the one asking for the wallet.
Now you hear this commotion downstairs. You said you heard 2 pops. And you heard who scream?
My mom.
Your mom. And what was she screaming? Do you remember?
Couldn't make it out. It
No?
was kind of like a cry yell, so it was just,
Okay.
they had made the first round.
Man, the fact that she is just not crying, she seems really interested to tell him the story. I like how she seemed like, oh, my voice is breaking up, I'm sad. And then right after it, she's like, oh yeah, and then this happened.
Or pop, and
Yeah, she knows a lot considering she's upstairs. And apparently the room is dark and, you know.
they had said, okay, that's enough. Let's go.
Who said that? Whose voice is that?
Number 1.
My God, this lady really knows this, almost like she planned it.
Okay.
And then I heard one more after that. And they're like, that's enough. Let's go.
Okay. And again, that's number 1.
Yes.
Also, like, man, he's asking her, like, tiny details. So, like, when they don't line up, like, the amount of like, she told, like, an extremely thorough story, man. I still can't get over the fact that it was only, like, 5 minutes in and she flubbed because she forgot her hands were supposed to be tied behind her back, so she couldn't have made the phone call.
So what do you hear next? After you hear the scrambling, they're gone.
And I like how he doesn't acknowledge that, you know? I'm just gonna pretend like that didn't happen, like I buy it. Because I don't want to lay in yet. I want her to think that we believe her, like lull her into a false sense of security, most likely, because if we say, no, that doesn't line up, then she's going to be more guarded and not as freely giving this information.
Because you're hearing no more. I gather that's how you assume they're gone, is because you don't hear. Then you hear your dad.
I reached for my phone at
Okay.
that point.
And you call 911? okay? When your father exits, you hear the door open because you hear your dog, and then
And then I can hear like the outside noises,
Okay.
like the wind coming in, and I just hear my dad. I think he's.
Man, she even remembers what the wind sounded like.
You think that he's sustained some kind of injury because he's not. You can't understand what he's saying. Okay. What about can you hear your mom? Okay. Where does your dad go? Do you know where? You never see your dad again until when we're at the hospital. I think that's what you said, right?
I saw him when he was on the gurney.
Is there any reason to suspect or anything that's happened in the recent weeks leading up that would have you guys be a target of some type of incident like this?
Yeah, like I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but like both of her parents, get got, and she can remember like everything she did that morning, like what pair of shoes she had on, like that she had piano lessons, what the wind felt like.
We live a straightforward, kind of almost routine life.
Whenever Jennifer smiles, it takes her a couple seconds to realize she's not exhibiting the correct behavior, and she then
Oh no! Oh, I'm not supposed to be smiling. My parents just died.
snaps back into her solemn stare.
What, in your opinion, would cause people to target
Whoops.
your house to think that there was a large quantity of money?
I'm not sure.
Now, you say your mom drives a Lexus.
It could be because of the aesthetics, yes.
What about your dad?
He drives a Mercedes and he loves that baby.
Is that right?
She smiled again.
The questions end here.
The way that she talks so casually is just, he drives a Mercedes and he loves that baby, just like, ah ha ha.
And the detective leaves the room for half an hour to double-check if he needs any more information. After 15 minutes of Jennifer waiting alone, we're gifted with another performance of the startle reflex. Only this time, it's slightly less convincing.
Oh yeah, that one definitely looks fake, okay. After the second time, the first one might not have been real. Because that clearly was like not even a loud sound or that close to her, man.
If investigators were certain of Jennifer's innocence, this would have been the first and last time she would have been questioned in such a manner. Police are extremely careful in how they involve victims in investigations as to not cause further unnecessary trauma. But on this particular occasion, it would come as no surprise that Jennifer's psychological well-being was of less concern. She was officially still a victim and witness, but unofficially a leading suspect. She was called back in to give another statement just 2 days later at 9 a.m. She was told the reason was to collect more details, but you'll notice that the line of questioning and the answers they attain have little to no use for anything outside of Jennifer's culpability. The actual reason for this second statement is to collect further information to use against her at a later stage.
Yeah, I was going to say, now they've had a little bit of extra time to look into everything, to hear the call, to hear the inconsistencies. Like, they might have been on the crime scene, so they know more. They're more certain, there's not as much wiggle room as before.
In this interview alone, they already start the process of cross-examination and start to catch her out in previous lies. Jennifer is still a witness at this moment, and the exchange is void of any direct confrontation. Yet she is still put under a modest amount of pressure, and the holes in her story start to become ever more apparent.
No, we're going to start playing bad cop is kind of what they just said. Like when they think they're onto something, we're not going to give her as much reprieve. We're gonna, light the fire and kind of cook like a rotisserie slowly. If they think they're onto something.
Take that first interview that we had, which was, hours after what had transpired, put it aside. It's almost like we've never spoken before, okay? So we're starting afresh. We're starting from new. That way you're not going to say, I think I already told him that. Don't worry about what you've already told me.
Yeah, so this is the same cop too, man. He's playing both sides. He's playing good cop and bad cop, this man.
Do you, Jennifer Penn, swear or declare that the evidence that you give in this investigation shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
We're going to see if we've learned or if you've remembered anything else. And there's some questions with respect to that statement that I'm going to ask you about. Okay, but I'm going to let you start again, and let's move forward from any time in that day where you want to start. If it's the time you woke up or if it's the time that your first interaction, it's your choice.
Okay, I'm very nervous, and
Why are
don't
you?
remember the money.
Why are you nervous? Tell me about why you're nervous.
Because I don't want to say the wrong things.
So
Because that day
Why would you be worried about saying the wrong things? Wouldn't you be concerned about finding your parents justice? If you're innocent, like, why would you be worried? These people are here to help you.
was a lot.
you're right.
And I've been
Oh,
scattered.
I really like that during these times when you just lost 2 family members, basically, unless the dad's still in critical support, but you know what I mean. It's really interesting that you're more concerned about self-preservation.
And so bits and pieces are here and some pieces aren't here, and I'm just...
So I want you to sit back in your chair. Okay, just sit back in your chair. Take a deep breath. Okay, close your eyes. Just follow my line. Just sit back in the chair for a second. Sit back, relax as the best you can. Close your eyes and just breathe for a minute. Okay?
The most curious detail you've probably come to notice is this. It's known as a self-pacifying gesture. A person who does this is most often uncomfortable and sometimes fearful of what lies ahead. It's a coping mechanism.
I do this all the time. When I go to the social event, that's what my hands do. I'm like, Lord, help me. I am about to I'm about to touch grass. I'm about to talk to other members of the human race. Lord, fucking help me.
Mechanism to dissipate stress and afford self-assurance.
What I can remember is when I woke up, I had some breakfast.
She practices on the piano, studies piano history, plays games on her phone, and speaks with her friends on Facebook during the morning hours. Her mom leaves to visit her grandfather at around noon and returns at 3 p.m. to prepare dinner. Her father comes home at around 4:30 from work, and dinner is served 1 hour later. Her mother
My God, does she have a really, really, like, extensive recollection of this traumatizing evening.
leaves for line dancing at 7, then returns at 9:30. Jennifer at this point is in bed talking with her friend on the phone, and her father is in the computer room. She then hears her mother loudly call out to her father.
What is she saying?
She's calling him by his name and to come down.
Okay, so give us verbatim. What do you hear her saying?
In Vietnamese, she's like, Hanoi, someday.
She's clearly aware that she has to appear mournful over the subject matter and sensibly draws out this emotion at the correct moments.
Oh my
Yet what's
God.
fascinating is how she's unable to maintain this emotion when inquired over the same elements. In this very moment, she appears completely grief-stricken, but when the investigator inquires further, this supposed grief rapidly dissipates.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I
extremely
said. Like, it's like, it seems like she's trying to meet a quota of like, oh shit, I'm supposed to be sad again. And then, like, she forgets as she, like, tells him more stuff.
difficult to convincingly act out an emotion while evaluating a question. It requires 2 completely different parts of the brain, which is why most people can only do one of these things at a time. This is exactly what you see in the next moment, and continuously throughout this interview.
Yeah. The reason why behavior matters isn't like, again, because like just looking at her, like, you know, like everybody has different emotions. You could tell something is rehearsed when she's trying to do 2 different things at the same time. Because you have to also realize that these people who have done interrogating of subjects have also met people who are innocent, right? They've seen the reactions of real victims, right? And so it's way more easy to tell after you've seen, you know, a lot of innocent people, you know, how strangely it looks when somebody isn't.
What does that translate to?
That's my father's name, Han. Come down here.
Does she say anything else associated with that?
I can't hear clearly because, like, I was on the phone and the TV was on,
Sure.
but that's what I heard.
Is she yelling? Or is it at normal?
It's a loud, she's not yelling, but it's a loud tone.
Okay.
She then hangs up the phone with her friend once she hears the commotion.
As I'm hanging up the phone with him, I hear footsteps going up the stairs.
Okay.
But they're heavier footsteps than what is to be expected from my parents.
Okay.
Jennifer hears unfamiliar
That's
voices,
weird.
so she opens her door to investigate. She has spoken for 2 minutes up to this point without being interrupted, and once again manages to build up her emotion to correlate with a supposedly terrifying event. Yet as soon as the detective interjects with a question, we once again see this emotion dissipate.
I peered out and there was a person in what would have been my brother's room.
And where's your brother's room located?
Just a little bit down the, I could see from my doorway to his doorway, just a little bit down the hall.
Do you guys know why he asked her that right then? But he did it basically because she is doing something that is pre-rehearsed. So if you're doing an act that's pre-rehearsed, if suddenly you have to go off script, the emotions are probably not going to be there if you don't actually feel sad. Yeah, it disrupts her rhythm if she is not being sincere. No matter what a cop asks you, if you're actually sad and traumatized, you would still be crying even if he interjected, right?
The first intruder then robs Jennifer at gunpoint before taking her to the ground floor, where she then sees her parents sitting next to each other.
Also, there's a lot of, bring the parents upstairs to bring them downstairs, to bring one family member downstairs, to bring her upstairs, to tie her hands behind her back, to tie her to the railing or whatever. There's a lot of moving around.
From where I was standing, my father was sitting on the right, and my mother was sitting on the left.
Sitting where?
On a couch. On our couch.
Sitting on the couch. Are they looking out towards you?
No, their backs are towards me.
Okay.
Oh man, this story is getting really confusing because wasn't she upstairs? When did they bring her down?
And you're now on the ground level? Are you on the floor? Or on the
I'm sitting on the
stairs?
floor. I'm sitting on the floor.
All right, where are your hands?
They had tied my hands.
So let's go back up to the stairs. Remember we said...
Her emotional display in seeing her parents in distress gradually faded after each interjection, but you'll now see it.
Yeah, he's doing it more, see? It looks like she loses the emotional storytelling element whenever I interject, right? But just doing this once, it could be a fluke, right? Which is why he's doing it multiple times. I'm gonna interject again when she's building up emotions and see if the same thing happens.
Her emotional display in seeing her parents in distress gradually faded after each interjection.
Yep.
But you'll now see it completely cease altogether once she realizes that she made her first mistake.
Yep, because remember, she knows she made a reaction the first time. She realized that she was supposed to have her hands tied. On the first day of interrogation, she's really well rehearsed. She knows this is something that is a flaw in her story. And that's why she's pushing back again.
Everything she had said up to this point correlated with her initial statement, but she had just forgot to mention that she was first tied up before being taken downstairs, and only brought it up when reminded by the detective.
Take the other statement and whatever we've said before.
Oopsie. Wait, she messed up at the same spot. Your hands are tied.
She didn't say she was tied up earlier. She slight panic, which seems
Sorry.
trying to convince the detective otherwise.
Sorry.
We've said before.
No, I said it earlier.
She didn't say she was tied up earlier. She completely forgot to mention it and seems to be trying to convince the detective otherwise. It's a moment of slight panic, which becomes far more pronounced when you compare it to her supposed grief-stricken recollection 5 seconds earlier.
Yeah, that's
crazy. The
crazy.
detective doesn't challenge.
She's suddenly defensive after, apparently about to sob.
This, as it can be used against her at a much later stage, and the main objective at this point is to collect as much conflicting information as possible.
Okay, then let's get...
Right, this is another dot on the graph, right? By itself, it may not mean much, but now it's happened twice.
Back to that area, I think you might have touched on it. We went back into the description. So where does you...
You could clearly tell, by the way, from her sighing that she's frustrated.
Where do you get your hands tied and where does the string come from?
I'm not sure where the string comes from, but he had the string.
Okay.
And after I gave him my money, that's when he tied my hands.
She is then taken downstairs where she sees her mother being interrogated by the second assailant over the whereabouts of the cash. According to her first statement, the second assailant never said a word the entire time.
He had pushed her back onto the couch, and
Who pushed her?
Number 2.
Okay.
He was pushing her back onto the couch. And she kept saying, "Where's my purse? Where's my purse?" And the guy kept telling her to sit down, and I didn't want my mom to get hurt.
Ooh, that's interesting. Didn't you just say he never spoke? And here I thought he was a mute. Here I thought he was a mime doing the crime.
How many times does she get up and get pushed back down?
Hold on. Hang on, was that long enough? No, hold on. I think he might have noticed I've...
I'd say she got up twice.
Has number 2 uttered a word at this point in time?
The breathing. This is a different behavior than before. Did you guys notice that? Her arms now are, on her legs. She's also sighing a lot, and she seems more like overwhelmed or frustrated than actually sad.
I can't remember hearing him.
Okay. So we're just correcting what you said earlier, because you said earlier that it was number 2 who was asking where the purse is, what are the purses, and now you've said it's number 1 guy who would initially...
I'm sorry, it's just...
No. It's all a purpose. The purpose here is clarifying what you're saying. So number 1 is...
I just don't want to...
Number 1 is the one who's doing the talking about the purse.
Do you notice that he's reassuring her a little bit? Like, we're just trying to make sure we get your account of the story correct, okay? That's why. And she's like, yeah, I'm just worried I might fuck up.
Number 3 is focused
Your parents did it like 3 days ago, but you are so worried about self-preservation.
on your dad's wallet. Okay.
Jennifer continues to make contradictions and is forced to correct herself multiple times after she notices the puzzled gaze from the detective. He
Uh-oh. She's like, I can read the situation and I might be fucked.
inquires over the appearance of assailant number 2, who is wearing a hoodie according to the first statement.
Do you get a good look at number 2 now of what he's wearing?
All I could tell was he had a vest, and his face was like a long oval face.
He had a vest?
Okay, this is something I've picked up on. I don't know if it's true or not. We'll have to look for the rest of this. It looks like when she's lying, she has a habit of putting her hands up towards her face. And when she's having a real emotion, they seem to go towards her lap. This is not confirmed, but it's something I've noticed a few times.
No, hoodie.
Okay.
Dark hoodie.
Okay. Did you see them recover anything inside your mom and dad's room?
I did not see anything, no.
Are you sure? Because when we spoke the last time, there was some mention of some other money that went missing.
I believe when they were looking for my father's wallet, they had opened the drawer.
Man, her tone of voice just changed. Did you guys notice that too? She went an entire octave lower. She went from like this to like, I remember it being below the drawer.
And there was, it was in an envelope.
What drawer would that have been in?
If you're at the doorway where I was standing on the left side, the bedside table.
Whose side of the bed is it?
That's my mother's side of the bed.
Okay.
More than likely a total coincidence, yet she almost appears to be praying that she gave the correct response. Fortunately for her, she was correct on this occasion.
And approximately how much money?
I'm not sure how much she took out for our trip.
I think she's acting during this part, but it's interesting that he thinks that it is possible that, like, it is a real emotion underneath. That is her hoping she remembered the information correctly, because she did just make a mistake. Also plausible.
But I can only estimate about a few $100s.
Few hundred, because at the time, the last time you told me, you were pretty adamant about $1,100. So I'm curious to know how you came up with that number.
All right, he's starting to cook her. Do you notice? He's starting slowly to cook her for inconsistencies now.
I believe because when we were at the border, we stopped at the duty free. My mother was deciding whether to use her U.S. currency or her U.S. currency.
Yeah, you really did there, brother.
Or her Canadian currency.
Uh-oh!
So it was at that time you remember hearing $1,100?
Yeah, we're praying a lot now. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe when she's, I don't know, her hands are still up, so maybe the hands on her lap thing doesn't check out.
Is that the inference you're saying? Is that, because you're pretty solid saying that it was $1,100 that went missing, that was taken, and that you saw it when we spoke. And who took it? Who took possession of the money?
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
The detective lets the contradiction slide once more. Jennifer is then brought to the moment where the intruders had just left, and she is tied to the upstairs banister.
Yeah, he's letting her sit with that. He's letting her sit, letting that stew for a little bit. You can't go off rip with all your artillery.
Come back to now. You're being taken to the banister in the upper.
The detective will remember that. It's like that part of the game where you make a choice and it's like this character will remember that. It's like,
Apologize, okay? I'm going to try and ask you questions to try and clarify points, okay? If you don't remember, you don't remember. Okay, so there's no apologizing. The only reason you would apologize to me is if you've lied to me.
No.
Okay,
No, it's
so
I just
then in this case, then don't apologize to me. It's okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you questions to clarify points.
Yep, so he's reassuring her here because he knows she's getting a little flighty. She might think about leaving if he kept grilling her this way. If he got really intense and cornered her, she can leave at any time.
You're now bound to this to the railing. Can you show me?
Now, if they do find evidence that like puts her here, like basically there's a certain amount of evidence where they can keep her here, I believe, and I don't know if they have that yet. So as far as I know, she could probably leave at any time right now.
You stand up and turn around and tell me, just show on the camera how your hands are bound and how you are against the railing. You don't have to sit down. I just need to see how you were.
She's like, I really messed that up the first day, huh?
tell you.
The only reason that I'm trying to, I need to do this is that I'm also going to ask you is that so take this back take it out of a traumatizing event, which it is, and put yourself into a more clinical position, because I want to see how you could physically get your phone out of your waistband. We're obviously going to need to know that. It's very important. So traumatize away, now put yourself into just a state of, I need to mechanically show how I can get access to my phone.
Bro is balding so hard, and I sympathize. There's no way you could do this job all the time and not lose all your hair, okay?
Okay, because that's obviously very relevant. We know you made the phone call, but questions are going to obviously raise is that if my hands are bound and I'm against the railing, how do I talk to a 911 operator? Okay, so clinically, this is now a clinical demonstration. Just stand up, focus in on how you did it.
Yep.
And I want you to stick that in your waistband as an example. Okay, so just take your sweater off, because this will be a very smooth, very quick thing. It's a one-time demonstration. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it.
The two critical parts of this demonstration are where Jennifer states she was tied, and the movement of her arms as she takes her phone out of her pocket. The investigator is hoping the mechanics of the two components would be illogical and contradict each other.
They tied my upper arm
Yes?
around the banister.
Yes?
Yeah, I think she's aware that they're onto her. I do think she knows this.
But my hands are bound together.
So
She is very well rehearsed, so she is not... You might be like, Dag, she forgot her arms were tied, what a dummy. But she's smart enough to know that they are onto her for sure at this point. I don't feel like she's a complete idiot.
your hands bound together, and this is the arm that's the strings wrapped around against the banister?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now how can you get to the phone? And how do you make the phone call?
Whether it be a stroke of luck or that Jennifer had prepared for this moment, this actually made sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she did have 2 days before they questioned her a second time. However, this could be done.
Had her arms gone left or the point of restraint been below the elbow, none of this would have been possible. It's perhaps the single moment where Jennifer's statement was somewhat beneficial to her defense.
Yep, I was gonna say, if she was innocent, this does benefit her, by the way.
We know Jennifer was tied up when police arrived, but the assumption was that she had her phone in her hands the entire time and wouldn't have had to retrieve it from her waistband. She can now argue that this portion of her testimony is genuine.
No.
Yes. And this is important, right? You want a detective to be somebody who can also prove certain parts of your testimony as innocent. You want somebody to both be able to see parts where you could be guilty or innocent, because it's to figure out how, justice for the parents at the end of the day.
911.
Mm-hmm.
And do you talk down like that?
Yes, I'm yelling at the phone like this.
And how can you hear?
I turned the volume on max.
Yep, another good question, right? How did you hear them?
Yes? So that's exactly the way that you're talking to her against the railing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good enough. Sit down.
Jennifer is then brought back to the moment just before she heard the gunshots.
At this point, I started hearing my parents get up. And they're moving. And my mom's yelling, "Where's my daughter? I want my daughter. Where's my daughter?" And I'm yelling, "Mom, I'm here."
Here. Jennifer, take a Kleenex and just take a minute.
You'll notice that she doesn't wipe her eyes or blow her nose, just buries her face in the tissue, which the detective later testified remained completely dry.
Yo, I touched that tissue she was sobbing into, and there were no tears.
Okay.
Your Honor, she didn't cry once.
So we're now down in the basement. They're down in the, you know your parents are down in the basement.
I heard pop. And then my mom. I heard her squeal.
Multiple pops occur thereafter before she hears the intruders leave through the front door.
Once the door closed, I heard my father. He ran up the stairs and all I could hear was moaning. Dad. Once I heard him starting to move, that's when I pulled out the phone and I was trying to call 911.
This is untrue. She only realized her father was alive midway through the 911 call.
Oh, oh no. Oh no. Ooh, not good, not good, not good.
And in that exact moment, you can actually hear genuine fear in her voice compared to her fabricated panic the moment before.
Some people broke into our house. Okay, this shows all his money. Okay, ma'am, where are you? What? Avenue Road. Yes. Can you spell the street name for me, please? Dad? Ma'am.
Yeah, she sounds way more startled at the fact that her dad is alive than the fact that she thought they were both dead.
The final part of
Man, hearing that a second time after all of this really hits different.
this statement is collecting information to set up the main strategy for Jennifer's interrogation that will take place 10 days later. They go through Jennifer's past and gather intel to lay the foundation for what's known as the how and why solution, which will be explained in further detail at a later stage.
Oh man, at this moment, she might have known she fucked up. I don't know. I don't think they did. I think they just left that because they didn't want to cook her too hard.
What I want to do now is I want to go into your past. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna leave that because it's really good evidence that she's lying, and they're gonna use that later.
And start talking about things that have been going on with you.
The detective now morphs into a therapist, and what's fascinating is how Jennifer doesn't once question the new line of inquisition.
Yeah, so just so you guys know, like I explained, these people, like, they're not just police. Like, they usually have a background in psychology, communications, all of these things.
Many argue that it was the first time Jennifer was even asked about such matters, giving reason for her willingness to open up. This may have been the first time in her life she was able to process her frustrations and vent to someone who appeared to care.
Oh, yeah. So he's playing good cop.
First topic is her parents and the expectations and pressures she was under to succeed, which led to her faking her grades and then her college degree as to not be a disappointment.
How did you feel about that? How did you feel about having to lie to your parents?
I felt guilty, but every time I tried to bring it up, there was just so much expectation.
Actually, chat, I take it back. I might have been right. Look, she's telling the truth here. She's talking about a real emotion, and guess where her hands are?
Did you have any resentment towards them for this?
I chose what I chose, but in the end, I chose my family.
She just referred to the ultimatum she was given by her father, the choice to live at home and go back to school, or be completely cut off by her parents and live with her boyfriend.
Yes.
Information gathering on Jennifer's past goes on for roughly 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Well, and notice that this entire time, for 2 hours and 20 minutes, that they're talking about, like, the history of her feelings with her family, what she's done in her life, all of these things she doesn't have to lie about. Suddenly, her hands are lower.
The detective then ends the exchange by putting her under some pressure. It's not
Yeah, she also just said her motive there.
a direct confrontation, but it's by far the most uncomfortable position she's been in up to this point. The detective subtly switches back to the home invasion and how the intruders were able to gain access without breaking in.
We're gonna see if her hands go up into prayer position again.
You didn't hear a doorbell. You didn't hear a door knock. You didn't hear a door kicked in. You didn't.
I said I was watching
No,
TV on the phone.
but-
I don't know how.
Yeah, I know. We went over that back and forth. We don't know how. So somehow they got into your house by getting through your mom down on the lower level, right? Because she's the only one who's down
She
there.
was the only one down there.
So it's very confusing. Generally, random events are not, in most cases, random. There's a rhyme or reason why they've come to your house.
Yep.
But from what you've told me inside the house, the only thing that you hear them saying to you is they're looking for money. They're not looking for a specific quantity of money?
No.
So you're
And
telling
remember, they got money. They got the 1,200. I think, yeah, they went into the parents' drawer or whatever before they decided to take them out.
me that you had no involvement in what happened. Meaning not saying how the outcome came, but you had no involvement in any type of illegal activity that would have drawn you or the attention of you to have bad people come to your house looking for large sums of money. You're not involved in this any which way. Because the question obviously stands, Jennifer, is you're upstairs and they're downstairs.
No.
Right? So it's
Yeah, you think that's a little fishy that you're the only one that didn't get taken out?
a natural concern when why would they leave you alone? Why would they not do the same to you? And you can't answer that question?
The only thing I can say is he said I cooperated. But I asked him to take me.
The number
with my
one
mom.
guy? The number one guy said you cooperated. Okay. Who's to say this whole thing isn't a lie? That what you're telling me is a lie?
Yeah, like, convince me why they would keep you alive. How can I believe that this isn't fabricated when you're the only one that is alive, right? Like, this is very direct.
Because if you are lying, it's the most cold-blooded thing that I've ever faced in my life.
Yep. He went for the jugular there. He really went in after 2 hours, man. He was waiting on that one.
There is nothing that you've said to me today is a lie. Back to another very difficult question. But if I don't ask it, I'm going to be, it's an obvious one. The resentment that you may have had towards your parents for the interference in your relationship and your life and essentially locking you down in your house.
At the end of the day, I love my parents and I chose to be with them.
Did you? I thought you didn't. I thought you were given an ultimatum. And you didn't like either option.
Wanted to, I could have just left, but I didn't. I wanted to stay with them and take care of them.
So this wasn't some evil plot that you thought up to,
Oh my God, no.
no interaction, no belief, no, you didn't have anything to do with this thing at all whatsoever.
By the way,
You
if
don't-
somebody said this to you and you were innocent, you would be like, think about it. Imagine something horrible happens to your parents overnight. There's still only 2 days from when this happened. Your dad's in critical care, and they're saying that you did this. You would be infuriated. You would be sobbing. You would be like, "What in the fucking world? How could you say that to me?"
don't engage in illegal activity?
No.
Because you know that it will be a very easy thing to discredit you on, right?
Like, she
We're
is
in the
surprisingly calm.
Process of trying
the
to add
accusation.
credibility to what you tell us, and that's through the process of asking people and doing whatever. Through that same process, it will be very easy to find the flaws in what you've said, which again then turns the focus back to you. Okay?
I don't.
It's a natural progress. It's a natural thing that investigators do. We eliminate people, or we draw our attention to them. It's a natural thing. It's not brain surgery. Okay?
The detective leaves the room for 20 minutes to allow Jennifer to stew in her own thoughts before they end the statement. He comes back to add one last bit of psychological pressure that he carefully disguises as reassurance. Jennifer will leave terrified, but still believe the police are on her side.
Okay,
She's pacing a lot more today than the first one.
we're done, essentially. How you
The
feeling?
fact that she's acting like she does have what is part of the concern.
Sorry, you really scared me.
Did I? What did I scare you about? Sit down and take a
Also,
load
it's
off.
really interesting how she's scared of him and not the actual, like, 3 murderers that came into her house. Wouldn't you be more scared to go home? Like, for me, right? I'd be like, can I sleep at the station tonight? Like, I'm terrified. 3 people just broke into my house and killed everyone but me. I'd be like, can I sleep in this interrogation room with the door locked and, like, 3 other people outside of it?
Tell me how you're feeling and how I scared you. I don't want you walking away from here thinking I'm evil. I want you to walking around from here thinking that this guy is helping investigate my mom's murder and he's going to turn over every stone possible to make sure that we catch the people who do that. That's what I want you feeling. So I don't want you walking away from here thinking that I scared you or I'm a bad man.
Yeah, she's about to leave. Do you see her pacing and stuff like that and standing up? So again, he's trying to reassure her because he's like, no, 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 wait. Don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. You know, he went too hard, so now he's got to pull back a lie. He's got to really sugarcoat it, or she might up and go.
Sometimes we have to ask very, very difficult questions, but it's my job. Okay? You're our only link. You're it. Until your dad regains his back and being able to be spoken to, right now you're our only link to this case.
Her father had bullet fragments lodged in his face that doctors couldn't remove, and a shattered neck bone. At the time of this interview, the consensus was that if he did regain consciousness, he would be useless as a witness due to irreversible brain damage.
So we may rely on you heavily until we can speak to your father.
Yep. So, like, she is also the only eyewitness able to frickin' speak. So
Okay.
sad.
So don't be afraid. If you've told the truth, the last thing you should be afraid of is anything.
Bro, I would be freaking scared if I saw a family member that I claimed to love, you know, like in that horrible of a state from people breaking into my house. I'd be freaking terrified. I'd be glued to the cop, like, please let me move in to the station.
You've told the truth and you've been truthful through this whole process.
Oh, she's praying again, by the way.
Then you're helping. You're doing your part. Okay? And don't be afraid of me.
I'm just afraid because, you know, like, I know everything is just all pointing negatively right now, and I don't understand why. I feel that, like, the way you're speaking to me, it's kind of like, I know you said that you had to say those things, but it's...
Is it just me, okay? If I didn't do a crime, I would still feel safer in a jail cell. Like, that would not be my number one concern. Is that weird to say? Like, if I was innocent and they incarcerated me and I had to go to a prison, I feel like I would be more secure than, you know, like, if those guys were still out there.
Yeah.
It's here, and I've already said it to the special victims yesterday, but there's, like, ideas in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid to say it out loud. But
oh, no, you should just say it.
Ideas
Please.
about speculation of what happened? How it happened? Unfortunately, at times some of us have to point the finger, seem like we're pointing the finger, and it really is just to provoke you to see what you're going to do, how you're going to respond. Okay? So, it's only a question, and it's been answered, and if you've been truthful, okay, you have nothing to fear. Absolutely.
She's like, but I haven't been. I've f***ed up my story a couple times now, and you even told me I f***ed it up, and so I know you're aware I f***ed it up, and now I'm real worried.
Police kept Jennifer under close observation from this point forward. A surveillance detail was assigned to track her every movement, and she was even monitored at her mother's funeral 3 days later. According to reports, she was emotionless the majority of the time, only showing what appeared to be feigned grief at certain moments. She never shed a single tear, and kept her eyes to the floor or completely shut for the entirety of the service. Jennifer's father had in fact awoken from his induced coma the day prior, and miraculously seemed to remember everything from the night of the incident.
Oh, yeah! Oh, you are so cooked. Yeah, Dad W, imagine being in your own head with all the stuff that happened to you and being like, I can't say what happened because, you know, they f***ed me up so bad.
He would give an official statement in secret on November 16th, and multiple parts of his story contradicted what Jennifer had told police. The most significant detail was that she was never tied up, but instead walking around freely and talking with the intruders as if they were friends.
Oh, man, oh.
He actually spoke with Jennifer over the phone, but was informed by investigators to act amnesic and not to confront her, only to ask her if she thought her ex-boyfriend was behind it. She stated that she was almost certain he wasn't. The only issue with Han's statement was that he had suffered minor brain damage from the gunshot, which could be used by a defense team to refute his testimony in court, or even...
Sure. It should be noted that he does have some brain damage after this occurred, right? If his story lines more up with the evidence given, the phone call that they have, right? And everything else, It's not going to look good on her part either, even if they can use that he wasn't completely coherent.
Even get it thrown out altogether. Furthermore, it was essentially his word against Jennifer's, and their turbulent relationship would also work greatly in the defense's favor.
Yep.
York Regional Police knew they needed a confession for the best possible chance at securing a conviction, so they assigned their most experienced investigator to conduct Jennifer's interrogation. She was called back into the Markham Police Station on the 22nd of November at 2:30 p.m., a week and a half after the incident took place.
Yeah, it is something where, like, he knows his daughter, right? So it's like his information is valuable for the investigator, for the interrogator, to be able to get the confession with, bare minimum, even if they can't use his testimony in court.
So just for the record, it is the 22nd of November 2010. We're at the 5 District Station in the town of Markham. My computer right now says 2:39 in the afternoon. Okay. Just for the record, my name is Detective William Gates. You can just call me Bill here today. And what do you like to be called?
Jen.
Jen? Yep. What do you prefer, Jen or Jennifer? Either or? Okay, so Jen.
I wonder what the difference is in these interrogations. I'm guessing this one's more official because they have evidence. They have the most amount of evidence now. Because this is a whole week later, I think, right?
You're aware that the audio tape and everything's on. It's the same as last time. Okay, you've been here on 2 other occasions, I understand, on the 9th of November, and I believe again on the 11th of November. Is that correct? Okay. And do you know why we're here today?
Just to discuss stuff.
Yeah, regarding what?
What happened at my home.
Okay. And as a result of that home invasion, your father...
There is some fun fact I heard that a lot of times if people are guilty, they will downplay it. Like, if you had something traumatic happen to you, you would say, like, you know, I lost my parents. Like, they got God. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be like, what happened at my home? A lot of times people will do that if they're guilty to try to downplay the situation to themselves, which I think is kind of interesting.
And Pam was actually shot, and your mother, Pan, was actually killed. Is that correct? Yeah, you'll have to speak up a little bit just so I can hear you.
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
What's unique about this interrogator is how he immediately adopts a no-nonsense approach, yet manages to build rapport and remain sympathetic at the same time. You'll see that he has far less patience compared to the previous investigator, yet seems to create a stronger connection with the suspect. It's a hard thing to explain, but easily observed, as you'll soon find out.
This is what makes a good detective. This is what makes a good interrogator, rather. Is he's able to get a lot of information. If you're able to get a lot of information out of a person, but also not back them into a corner where they leave. And this guy, not that the other people weren't very skilled people, but it seems like they said that the people that they hired for this were like the top people at doing this.
So that's what we're going to discuss here today.
Jennifer this time around has read her rights to silence rather than her rights as a witness. If she knew anything about the law in Canada, she would be wise to the fact that she is now a suspect. Fortunately for the investigator, she remains completely naive to the situation throughout the opening phase of the interrogation, making her far more susceptible to the strategy he is about to employ.
Okay, just hold on a second.
Oh boy!
Okay, we're having technical difficulties here. Okay, so that's why they interrupted me. What we're going to do is, if you don't mind holding tight there, I'm just going to move my equipment to the other room, okay? And then I'll come over and we'll move over there, next door, okay?
I'm just not comfortable being on my own.
Okay, I'm going to be right here, though. Okay?
With respect to interrogations, it's common knowledge that the psychological manipulation begins before a single word is spoken.
Oh,
the
yeah.
physical layout of the room is designed to accelerate the sense of discomfort and isolation, and it's fascinating to observe how each interrogator has their own unique methods of setting the tone.
Yeah, like they will change where the chair is placed that they sit in, where the door is, and how close they are to the door. And like, they will set up the room to either make it more uncomfortable or have tension or more comfortable. A lot of times, if you really want to make the suspect feel uncomfortable, you'll put your chair blocking the door, like in way of their exit, because it will make them feel like they don't have an easy escape. They cannot see the exit.
Knowing how this interrogation plays out allows us to realize this detective's procedure. The
Yeah, he's setting
considerable
the mood.
distance between him and the suspect will keep
You guys have heard of Netflix and chill? This is Netflix and get grilled.
her relaxed enough to be influenced by phase 1. But this same distance will intensify the pressure once he eventually closes it during phase 2.
Oh, so he's going the door open method, where he's right next to it, and the door's open to lull her into a sense of you can leave whenever you'd like.
You'll notice this detective is slow with his first strategy, but swift with the second. He takes his time in building trust and establishing rapport, yet once this initial connection is secured, the transition to aggression will be abrupt and ever-increasing from that point forward.
Oh man, he's gonna go straight for the jugular once he's in. Once he's in, he's just gonna KO.
Jennifer takes a seat in the room 15 minutes since she was first informed of her rights. It's important to note that she is still free to leave at any time at this point.
Okay, so they still have it for sure. They still don't have a good enough reason at this point where they could say you're not allowed to leave, which sometimes can happen in interrogations. But in her case, she could still get up and go. So that is probably why he's being extra careful to build the rapport too.
She is unknowingly a suspect, but not under arrest.
Yep. So sometimes they will do these, and the suspect will be under arrest at this point, and they won't be able to leave. And a lot of times they'll tell them like midway through or something. But in this case, she can up and leave if he makes it too uncomfortable. So he's got to be more careful.
For the record, this room is being videotaped and audio taped, just like the other one, okay? And I'm just going to grab my chair from across the way, okay? Okay.
The detective goes through Jennifer's history of teaching piano and her earlier years of high-level figure skating, which was cut short due to injury.
If you didn't get injured, would you still be doing it? Yeah. Okay. So that's nice.
He's asking her questions about her interest.
And did you, as far
Yeah, let me hear all about your figure skating. That's so fascinating. We're definitely not here because you just offed both your parents, potentially. Let's hear about the figure skating.
as that, did you do like competition skating or? Okay. And how did you do with that?
I wasn't at the top of the pack, but just the middle average.
Yeah, so that's good though. But you did actually enjoy it. It was more than just going for competition. You enjoyed actually.
Also, the reason he's talking to her about this is because it's her interest, so it's something she likes to talk about.
I was petrified of the competition.
Okay. All right.
Also, the friendliness, right? Here's another thing. He's not very far away from her. Did you guys notice that? The room he picked is quite small. There's bigger ones. There's all different types of setups. This is on purpose.
The students I were teaching, they went to high school and lost interest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, too big for piano. Yeah, I took it in.
Also, notice the jokes and laughing. He's talking to her very casually. This is also, and his body language, okay? Like, I was going to say, I'm sorry for yammering too much. He's close to her on purpose. This distance is usually something you would have with somebody who's being friendly with you, like at a coffee shop. Does that make sense? It's not to make her feel trapped in a corner. It's to make her feel like he's building a closeness to her. But he's not so close that it's uncomfortable. He's got like a really good distance here. It's like a coffee shop if you were meeting up with someone you know.
Grade school too, but I think I went to grade 7 in it, I think. Like
Now he's sharing stuff about himself. He's saying like, oh, this is what I did in my life.
In grade 7, I stopped taking it, but I still remember Swans on the Lake. I didn't know how to play that. That's about it.
The detective then goes through Jennifer's work history as a server before touching.
I am studied. Yes, I'm sorry. If you guys don't know, I'm a communications bachelor degree, so I had to learn about a lot of the stuff that applies here, and I could have had a job doing this.
I still remember Swans on the Lake. How to play that, that's about it.
The detective then goes through Jennifer's work history as a server before touching on her future plans in education. Jennifer mentions that she plans to go by her parents' wishes and pursue a career in healthcare, at which point the primary strategy is initiated, the how and why solution. The detective gradually begins to shift the blame away from the suspect and onto another set of circumstances that prompted the suspect to commit the crime. He's
still playing good cop here.
Starts developing a theme that will afford her a psychological justification in doing it, and this theme will be further established as the interrogation progresses. It starts off subtle so that she remains oblivious to the agenda.
Now, if you could pick any job yourself, I'm not talking about anybody else, but if you could pick for yourself, what would it be?
I'm going to be a piano teacher when I come home, but in the daytime I'd like to have
Also, this is something I've noticed, just something that, like, I've observed while watching a lot of, like, interrogations at something I've learned is a lot of the ways that they get close to people are questions you could ask a 5-year-old. Like, what do you wanna be when you get older? What do you like about this hobby you have? It's usually, like, the ways to get close to people or lull them into comfort are conversations you could easily have with a 5-year-old. They're not complex. That's just something I've noticed.
Just simple, maybe like a lab technician job, just work 8 hours a day, and then come home and teach piano.
Okay.
This is an answer the detective was hoping for. Jennifer's preferred career choice is at odds with what her parents wanted, so he now builds on the concept of the overly controlling parent and the unfair limitations it causes the child. He
could have approached this in a totally different way that was more accusatory, right? And he could be like, I'll tell you the example of that just so you guys know, without saying like, oh, you're the one to blame. The more accusatory way he could have asked her this question is say like, why did you go to college when it's not what you wanted to do? That would be the more blunt, accusatory way that would make her uncomfortable. Instead, he goes, if you could do anything in your life, what would you do? Notice how that question also is more digestible by a 5-year-old.
Links this concept with the subject of Jennifer's boyfriend and how she was kept from seeing him.
Now, eventually you were discussing Daniel. What happened with that relationship?
I hid it from my parents at first. They didn't agree with me having a boyfriend.
Okay.
And once they found out, they didn't like the fact that he was of mixed race.
Man, that is sad. That's like she's f***ed up too, obviously, but you know, it's obvious that her parents being f***ed up did not help. Her parents were not good people in a lot of ways. They may not have been murderers, but they were not the best.
And they told me to stop seeing him.
Okay. And how did that make you feel?
By the way, if you guys didn't know, like from the, you know, the meme, like how did that make you feel? Psychologists usually use passive language and not accusatory. If you are somebody goes into therapy, they tend to use more passive language that because they want to ask you more about yourself, get you to open up on these problems and not pull them out of you because you tend to get more genuine responses that way. And people will want to work with you that way more than if you were like, you know, very direct, even if it isn't in this setting. So
he was the person who just filled an empty void for me. So it felt that a part of me was missing.
Yes, it's giving them ownership of the answer. It's giving them more control in their mind over the situation.
When you broke up, you felt the part was missing? Is that what you're saying?
When they first told me to stop seeing him, stop talking to him, I felt like a part of me was missing, and I fell into a little bit of depression.
Okay. How did they find out?
One day when my mother came to pick me up, she saw me with him. He had dropped me off.
Okay. Dropped you off?
At Pacific Mall, and my mother was coming to pick me up from Pacific Mall.
Okay. And somehow they saw each other, I guess?
Oh, my mother saw me hugging, kissing goodbye.
Okay. That gave it away. What happened next then?
Is Pacific Mall a bad place? Sorry, I don't know the location here. Somebody in chat had a visceral reaction to the place she was going. Is Pacific Mall, is it like high crime rate? Is that why? The biggest Asian weeb mall. That sounds great. What do you mean?
I tried to bring him home.
How'd it go there?
My mother at first was like, bring him home, let us meet him. When I brought him home, they automatically didn't like him for some reason.
Okay.
And that's when they told me to stop seeing him.
Okay. So you were told to stop seeing him. So what happened then?
Again, by the way, you could tell she's comfortable, like, sorry. These are things I'm picking up outside of JCS's commentary, right? Her hands are lower, so she's being honest right now. She's not uncomfortable. We've seen this because when she starts getting uncomfortable, she starts putting her hands up towards her face in like a prayer position, or she touches her face a lot.
At first, I stopped for a while. But like I said, I just felt really empty and I felt depression, and I started talking to him again.
Jennifer then goes on to explain in further detail how she carried on the relationship in secret and how it became more and more of a struggle hiding it from her parents.
Now, how has Daniel taken it when your parents said that you couldn't see him anymore? How did he take it?
He was hurt.
Yeah.
See how he's asking around the question? Because he's also trying to learn a little bit about the boyfriend. How did he take it, right? Because obviously she's very, she really, really likes this guy. So how he feels might influence how she feels as well, right? But it also seems like he's asking out of care because of the way he's indirectly asking.
And how did you feel?
Also hurt.
Also hurt. Okay.
She then goes on to explain that she was living with Daniel at his parents' house for 2 years, while her own parents thought she was studying at a university.
And his parents were, I guess,
Sadly, even though this situation obviously you can empathize with, this girl has lied a lot.
more liberal than your parents.
His parents, they love me.
Yeah, okay. And
Sorry, what did she say? Their parents, they loved me. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's an important note.
Parents, they love me.
yeah, okay. And they recognized that you loved each other.
Jennifer recounts how she bought a fake diploma for $500 to show her parents, and the many other avenues she went down to keep the lie going.
I bet you she also looked online for this and found out how to do it. Like, this also really more makes it plausible that she would look for a hitman because she's already looked online. Like, not that these are comparable, not that, paying money to make your parents think that you have a legitimate, different grades and all that is in the same caliber as, paying a hitman. But you know what I'm saying? She's done things online in depth before.
She eventually gets to the day she was found out.
How did you end up back home, I guess?
She's crafty is what I'm saying. She's crafty and she's clever.
They called up my friend, who I said I was staying with, in the middle of the night, and she was groggy and forgot what day it was, and so she's like, "Isn't she home?" And I wasn't home.
Okay. She messed up.
I don't blame her, but
No. Okay.
Jennifer
Also notice he's still like giggling and stuff, like, and he still kept his like very calm posture, right? He's still, even though he's kind of poking and prodding deeper into her emotional things, he's trying to keep very friendly.
then goes on to explain the ultimatum she was given and the restrictive measures that were put in place so that she wouldn't be able to see her boyfriend.
So how has that felt, being under those guidelines for the last 18 months?
it was okay. Like, it wasn't the best feeling in the world because, I just felt like trapped.
Okay.
But it's what I chose to be with my family.
Okay. And so you made a choice between what?
Living out on my own with Daniel and staying home with my parents.
Did you feel you really had a choice or not?
Yep. This is
There was
important.
no choice because family always comes first.
Okay.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, so basically, TLDR, this isn't misconstruing her words. She made a choice, but there never was a choice. And by doing that, the situation she was in made her feel trapped.
where do you get that from? Where do you get that belief? Okay. So family's number one.
The detective then brings up Jennifer's earlier assertion of being depressed and then affiliates it with the restrictive measures she was living under.
Did you ever feel that they expected too much of you? How so?
Comparison to other people,
Okay. Compare you to.
like classmates, clubmates, cousins.
Okay. And so some of them have been successful recently? Okay. And what did they say to you?
Wish you could have been that person.
Okay. So that's pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Hard to take for you?
What I've heard all my life. So nothing.
Okay. Did you ever feel like, I
Men.
know you're smart and they believe you're very smart, but did you ever feel you weren't as smart as what they thought that you were?
Yes.
Okay, I get that feeling, that it's pretty tough to live up to their expectations. Okay, like your dad ultimately would like to see you be like a doctor. Those were
Yeah,
pretty
they're
high
the stereotypical, like, tiger mom, tiger dad, right? Where it's like, it doesn't matter if you're making progress or learning or doing your best. It's like, did you make it A? No, you're stupid.
standards for anybody.
Yeah, the stereotype.
Not everybody can be a doctor. Okay? But they may have acted like you could have done it no problem. Their expectations were so high that few people would be able to reach that expectation.
He's not wrong, by the way. I know he's trying to comfort her and stuff, but he's not wrong. A lot of people, even if it doesn't justify what they did, can understand feeling upset in this situation, right? Like, they could feel empathy, like, man, that must have been very difficult.
I'm not just talking about you, I'm talking about anybody.
Yep.
And it started at a young age.
The detective further explores the stresses of living with overly strict parents, and Jennifer explains in further details the way she would cope, which for the most part was lying about her grades and living a double life with her boyfriend.
How did it feel having to lie to them all those years?
It's really hard. Really hard. Like, I wanted to tell them, but it just, they always looked down and disappointment.
This seems genuine, so she did actually feel guilt for hiding it from them. That's interesting. I would have thought she didn't. I would have thought, like, she didn't feel bad at all, like, based on her resentment, but apparently she did feel bad.
I'm sure there were days when you actually planned that this is the day I'm going to tell them, and then you just couldn't spit it out.
The opening strategy of the how and why solution has now been executed. A connection has been attained, and the desired narrative established. The next phase of the interrogation is about to commence, which is first set up by a two-step strategy. Step 1 is to induce fatigue. Step 2 is to induce fear.
Now, when
Oh boy, we're about to cook, boys. We've got all this info, so now we're gonna escalate.
last time you spoke to your dad?
This morning, this day.
That is definitely a more direct question right off the bat. When was the last time you spoke to your dad? Out of all the questions he's asked so far, that is the most direct about the situation.
My brother had made it into school with me.
Okay.
Yeah, the oven's preheated. It's time to cook.
And what have you and your father discussed about this case?
He just asked me if Daniel was behind it.
Okay.
And I told him I don't know 100%, but I don't think he did.
Okay. Why would he ask that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Why would he think that was plausible?
Because he believes that we still talk and that he would go to any length to be with me.
Okay. Now, what do you
It's
think?
interesting that she didn't say, like, whether or not they're still together, right?
I know that he's moved on, so I don't think he would go to these lengths to be with me when he's already moved on.
The detective has Jennifer go through the entire incident once more, but
I think he's the only one who really questioned more into the boyfriend out of the other detectives, or, you know, maybe they skipped forward, but interesting.
unlike the first investigator, offers no reassurance nor consolation. Jennifer starts fake crying again, yet this time is given no tissues to wipe away her non-existent tears.
Now, you think
No tissues for her non-existent tears. That line is insane. Yeah, and so just in case, like, just to catch up real quick, he asked, why did they take out both of your parents? Why did they try to, you know, why did they fire, you know, ammunition at your parents and you just got to sit upstairs? Why wouldn't they take you out? You're literally a witness. Why would they do that?
And does it make sense that they would leave a witness behind? If they were going to kill somebody? Does that make
That's
sense?
what I'm saying.
I guess
Just thinking about it. Would it make sense for somebody that was going to kill somebody to leave a witness behind that could describe them? Does that make common sense for killers?
Oh, he didn't even say, does that make sense? He says, does that make common sense, bro? You got common sense? I'm thinking you don't.
What do you think?
Also, the hands are up in prayer position, chat.
Do you think that was a mistake they made then?
I don't know.
Whoopsie daisy.
They're running out of time, and it just.
It doesn't take a long time to kill someone, though, does it?
It doesn't take a long time to off someone. I'm just letting you know, man.
I don't know.
Jennifer's dramatics intensify as the discussion of the home invasion continues.
Oh my
She's trying to
God.
give off the nonverbal cue that she wants to move past the incident. The detective doesn't respond, but continues to go over the different stages of the night in more detail. He
Nah,
jumps
he's
from
grilling.
the beginning to the end, to the middle, back to the end, and then back to the beginning again. None of this is for the purpose of information gathering. He is inducing mental fatigue as to diminish Jennifer's critical thinking. This is often done before a direct confrontation, as it can diminish the suspect's suspect's ability to consider the long-term consequences of a decision. Jennifer will get stressed and tired, not because she is traumatized by the event being recited, but because it's exhausting keeping up such an act when it's not genuine. And this
so if this is a real thing, you wouldn't remember every painstaking detail of what was going on, right? And so it would be really easy to you know, give the same answers that you gave the first day. But because you, like, went even, you know, to, like, what the wind felt like upstairs, like, it's starting to, the fact that she's got to manufacture it so much means that she can feel fatigued, which you wouldn't really be able to do if it wasn't real.
performance eventually starts to dwindle and becomes gradually less convincing.
How did the conversation end with that?
Yeah, she did front load everything with details.
I heard my mother calling for my father.
And then what?
I have to go through this again.
I don't wanna! Don't make me do it again! I'm tired!
Okay. When you went to bed, was your mom home yet?
She had just gotten home and I went down. I told Ed I'd be right back. And I went down, I said hi to her, and I went back up to my room.
Okay. Were you injured at all during the whole process?
Not really.
Okay. Not really anything?
Step 2 of the confrontation setup will now commence. The detective employs what is known as the futility technique.
Oh,
he will
boy.
tell Jennifer that he has an abundance of resources at his disposal, and even fabricate much of what he asserts.
I've seen this one before. Like, I have, you know, we have eyewitnesses. They can pick up a few crumbs of dirt and they'll know that you stepped there. If one drop of sweat ended up on the ground, they'll know what hour that sweat was dropped. Resistance is futile, milady.
Indirectly telling the suspect it is useless to resist due to the overwhelming evidence against her.
Now, the reason
You don't understand my hidden power level.
why I'm here today, okay, is that I'm an expert, okay, in what we call truth verification. I talk to thousands of people, okay, and I basically know when somebody's not being straightforward with me, okay. I can tell by the language they use, how they answer the questions, their body language, how they treat the question, that something's wrong here, okay, this doesn't make sense.
The detective then gives Jennifer an 8-minute narrative on police tactics and forensic technology. Some of which is embellished, but for the most part true. He then asserts that police are able to use infrared satellite imagery to see the occupants inside a household. This is
Oh my god, that's crazy. He just came up with that on the spot, huh? We got them infrareds. We got the satellites, all right? The aliens are gonna clap your cheeks if they wanted to, all right? We talked to them. They always a cheek slapping distance away from the crime, all right? You can't get away with nothing. They know, the infrared can tell when you last took a piss or a shit or what burrito you ate that came out.
is entirely false.
You got the space
And
lasers.
basically, if people are moving around in a house, it's like an x-ray, okay? And basically we're able to tell, you know, are those movements, are those actions, that number of people consistent with the story that we've been told?
They got that x-ray vision. Like, can I tell the suspect that we got freaking satellites with laser beams and x-ray vision? They're like, yeah, whatever you could do to get them to admit to the crime.
Are the people in the positions that the witnesses are telling us they were in? Or are they different? Okay, and if they're different, why are they different is what our question becomes, right? And so at the end of the day, okay, there's so many resources available to me that at the end of the day, I'm going to know if a person's telling me the truth or not.
The detective is now about to initiate the confrontation, but first brings the entire setup full circle by reestablishing the notions of reasoning and rationale. The suspect is fatigued and scared, but still needs to feel the detective is on her side.
Now,
luckily for you, I'm a space laser connoisseur expert, you know, with the power of hyper laser beam imagery for the truth, but I'm on your side of the table, lady. Luckily for you.
I can tell you that nothing surprises me in this job, okay? I am well aware that anybody on this earth is capable of making a mistake, okay? I don't care who they are.
No, yeah, you could tell me, I promise, okay? I'm sure I see something worse.
I don't care.
You could trust me.
I don't care if they're a school teacher. I don't care what the
Yeah, I won't judge you.
situation is. Given a certain set of circumstances, everyone has the capability, Jennifer, of making a mistake, doing the wrong thing. Okay?
Yeah, you just accidentally, your hand slipped and you premeditated an entire organized crime of something that could put you in prison for life. But, people make mistakes.
The key, though, when I talk to people is when they made a mistake, okay, that's one thing, right? The key is to not keep making the same mistake.
Yeah, as long as you don't go out and, murder people again, we'll just give you a slap on the wrist.
And to get that information out and get it off your chest. Okay?
Yeah, I'll be here so that you could confide in someone, Sometimes, I've seen a lot on this job. Sometimes your hand slips while you're going to that 3 a.m. piss break and you just happen to, hire a hitman that offs everyone in your general location,
Understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, from this case, and I can tell you I've spent literally a week on this case going over information after information, accessing all these sources, speaking to every other expert on the case. And at this point, Jennifer, I know that you've not been truthful with the police.
Oh, I wasn't expecting him to do that. I thought he was going to lure it out more. I thought he was going to be like, you can tell me anything. Like, is there something you want to tell me? And leave it in her end of the court. I didn't know he was going to go guns blazing like that.
Okay? You've not told us everything that you know.
Uh-oh.
Purposely. You've spent...
Oh, he scooted! Do you guys see the scoot? He's going in! He's going in! Oh, you ain't getting out of this one! You ain't getting out of this one!
a considerable amount of time
He's
in
coming!
the last 7 years telling half-truths.
This is the menace scoot.
And I can understand why, okay? You've had a tough life.
Tactical advance.
What's happened to me, equates to abuse. All the stresses that you've had and forced to lie, I can understand why you did it. Okay?
Yeah. You've really been through some truly tough times, so I can understand why you would choose to off your parents. Don't worry, I'm here for you.
But you're in another situation here where you're under another tremendous amount of stress.
Luckily for you, because I've got advanced space lasers.
And it doesn't feel good inside, does it? It breaks
He's going for the guilt maneuver. He's saying, like, this doesn't feel good to not tell anyone about, right? This is like, does she have guilt?
down the person that you are. Because at the end of the day, you're a good person. I know that. You've got a good heart.
The reassurance, man. You're a good person. I still believe, even if you did it, you're a good person. I believe your heart's in the right place. I believe you're a victim of people treating you badly.
In this case, though, you've made mistakes. Okay? And you're involved in this. I know that. Okay? There's no question about it. The only question right now is, are you going to keep making mistakes? Are you going to go on the route that you've gone on over the years and try to pretend that things happen that never happened? Okay? Are you going to...
You could start today as a better person by admitting what you did and being locked up.
not face reality here? We know that you're involved. We've done our homework, okay? We have to resolve that now here today. I need to know from you what really happened. And I know why this has happened.
Oh, what's that? He leaned in. The lead. He's closing in on the target.
You have spent your whole life trying to live up to expectations that you can't meet, okay? And that stress the hell out of you. You're a 24-year-old woman being treated like a 15-year-old, okay? You've never done anything that terrible in your life, but you're being treated like you have.
That is very true. Yeah, like she has done some, pretty conniving things, like calling someone to make her grades faked, like lying to her parents about where she lives. But she has never done anything to hurt anyone up to this point. So a lot of what he's saying is true. If you met somebody who did the things she did before she did this crime, you would say they were wrong for doing it, but you would be far more understanding. You would understand why they did those things, and you would empathize with the fact that they were an adult and they were being treated, like a kid.
You're not being treated like the adult that you are. Yes, you made some mistakes. Big deal. You're not the first person that has gone out and not told their parents that they're dating a guy, because in your culture, they don't accept it. I understand it. I've talked to people in here that have kept that secret for their whole life from their parents. Okay, so that's not abnormal, but that puts a lot of stress on you, right? That's not easy for you, is it?
He's validating her, right? He's validating her emotions because these are all things she probably thought in order to justify doing this at the same time, too.
Now, what we need to get down to here today, Jen, is what really happened. You need to tell me what went on, because you know who was in that house that night. You do, Jen. There's no question about that, okay?
While remaining empathetic and understanding, the detective still needs to keep Jennifer's confidence low. He watches for denials and stops them immediately. Letting the suspect deny her guilt will only increase confidence and morale.
Oh, okay. Like, instead of, like, before, where the cop, like, every time she kind of backed away too far, he tried to reassure her, right? So, to make sure she didn't run away. He has built enough rapport that he is confident she's not going to up and leave the room. So, at this point, he knows that if he gives her any wiggle room, she'll actually build confidence. So, he needs to continue to keep the heat on enough, or she will just continue lying and they won't get anywhere.
This needs to be stripped away as much as possible, as early as possible.
There's no question about it, okay?
The focus is kept from the magnitude of the crime and concentrated on the justifications of why someone would commit it.
Yes, Their intentions might have been good, but they're not realistic. They're not, Dan, were they? Jen? Their expectations weren't realistic, were they? You couldn't live up to them, could you? You tried to. Right? Am I right? And finally you had to bite back, right? You had no other choice. You felt like you had no other options.
She's not, okay, so she's not responding yet, but she's not pushing back against him. She's not being defensive like she had been before.
This is Canada.
Oh! It's a scoot! It's scoot number 3! The third scoot!
We're in the 21st century here. You cannot take everything out of a person. You can have expectations for your kids, but you can't expect them to do everything the way you want it. It doesn't feel good to have secrets, does it? No. You have to let me know what happened here, okay? Okay, but you were involved, right? That's the part we need. Okay? We need.
Yeah, he's trying to make her uncomfortable while being the strong resolve, right, as well. He's like, I know everything. I'm okay with these types of topics. You can't scare me. You can't intimidate me. You can't. I'm the comfort that you want. I'm the reprieve from the discomfort I am actually causing you.
To hear that from you, because we know you were.
You know, if you just tell me this, then all of this tension and uncomfortability will go away. I am the answer for the problem. You know, I am the way to make things, you know, you give me this answer, the uncomfortableness goes away.
The detective appears to be getting nowhere, so he now lowers the gauge of admission. A confession to a lesser offense is far easier to attain, but once it is attained, can be used to build on the more damnatory elements of the case.
Yeah, so he realizes he's not going to get an outright confession of like, yes, I did this, so he's like, all right. I can't get that easily, right? But maybe I could get something secondarily. So now he's probably going to use like more indirect language. Like instead of you did this, you carried out the task, right? Were you involved? Did you know about it? Were you a part of it in some capacity? Did you know it was going to happen before it happened?
You'll also notice that he uses broad terms that infer guilt, yet don't directly accuse Jennifer of murder.
That's what I said.
Before that night that this was going to
Indirect
happen.
language, passive language.
I'm going to make that easy on you. That's a true statement, right? You knew before that night that they were coming, right? Jen? It's not worth it anymore. It's hurting you.
What happens to be...
She seems to be on the cusp of giving some form of admission, yet wants reassurance as to what it means for her own sake. She asks this question 9 times throughout this interrogation. It's one of the few things investigators can't actually lie about.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you can lie as an investigator. He could say he's got space lasers, but he can't actually lie about... like, he can't say, like, oh, you'll be fine. Like, that is where the legal element kind of holds them back. So, like, when she asks that question, he can't answer it.
It's been used countless times in the past to get a case thrown out under misdirection. They can...
Oh, interesting. So they have lied to them in the past. Like, they have said, oh, nothing happens. But, like, then in court, they're like, no, you misdirected the subject. And that's why they did it. You know, like, maybe they were super uncomfortable. You know, they did it to get out of the situation thinking they wouldn't get in trouble.
Avoid the question, yet they can't afford any false promises with respect to sentencing.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know the details. I can't even say. But I can tell you one thing is that we already know, so you can't change that.
Then why did you stop?
I know you did. But it got too far ahead of you, right? You didn't think this far ahead, did you? But once they started, once they came in, you couldn't stop it, could you?
Yeah, like, he could say, I'm not sure. Like, it all depends on the sentencing. Like, I don't know. You could say, I don't know, because, like, you technically, you don't. You never know until the court rules what they say. So he could say, I don't know.
Why did you stop?
I know. Why didn't they stop for you?
This is a slight admission, by the way. It's not fully what they can use, but she's starting to admit something. It's not all of it, but, like, her saying, I just wanted it to stop, that is something he can push on a little bit.
I didn't know who they were.
But you were part of the planning, right?
Yeah, were you part of the plan?
You have to tell me that part, and then we're going to work through it together.
Yep. You got to give me
You know what I'm
something.
saying? You didn't want this. You wanted to stop it. You have to prove that to me now. Because at the end of the day, we have to stop this from happening to someone else.
Yep.
Right?
If you tell me something about it, you're a hero. Yep, it's
Yeah.
all about what happens to her, though.
What
I
about-
love that. Oh, you could stop this happening to other people, but what about me, she says.
To deal with it one step at a time, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I need to know what you did. And then you and I are going to work through this together. Because the most important part of this whole thing is that we do the right thing for your mom. Right? I am her voice right now. I'm working for your mom. That's my job. And I have to get to the bottom of this for your mom.
Appealing to compassion isn't necessarily uncommon when the
Yep.
crime is first-degree murder, yet it can send a mixed message when a justification for the crime was a focus point early on. The detective takes his chance with it, which at first appears to work. Jennifer initially responds in a poignant manner, but you'll soon come to notice that her empathy, alongside her concern, is solely focused on herself.
Yep, I was going to say, she's really focusing on self-preservation even more because she's exhausted. And yeah, it can be hit or miss if you try to go for the empathy route or caring about the other person, right? It's more effective when he was caring about her and her life and validating her, probably.
But
But
we
that's
gotta
more
start-
telling about her than him.
Well, I don't know at this point. Okay? Because I don't know what you're going to tell me other than that you were involved. But I need to hear it. What this all was a last-ditch effort to live your own life, to be your own person, to make your own decisions. Look at all your friends. Look at all the people around you. Does anyone else have a curfew for 9 o'clock at 24 years of age? You had no choice here, Jen. I know that.
Yep, he's reassuring her again.
And anybody else in your situation would have done the exact same thing. The only thing different is
Anybody else in your situation would also bear their parents.
say that they'd have done it a lot earlier. They would have looked for a way out. When did you first start planning this?
And the day of, she could not even cry.
When was the final straw? What was the final straw? So that's what this is all about. Do you want to be a good person here?
Jennifer knows exactly what questions to answer and what ones to ignore. Anytime a question is non-incriminating, she gives a response. Yet when they are incriminating, she remains silent. She is no doubt feeling the pressure, but still very aware of the situation and the potential ramifications of her words.
Yeah, she's not an idiot. I know you guys, a couple people said she's not smart. She's smart enough to know that she is cooked.
And you know when a good person makes a mistake, they have to face that mistake, right? What do you think should happen? I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think
You're
should
gonna
happen to
prove
you?
people that you know what the right thing to do is. That's what is going to happen. That's what your mom wants right now. She's watching us here. She's wondering, is Jen going to make the right decision here? Is Jen, after all of this, going to come out on top doing the right thing? I'm here for you, Jen. I'm here for your mom. Well, you have to tell, it's one of those situations, you know what? We know that what you did, okay? But you have to be able to explain to me what happened, okay? I can't tell you what's exactly going to happen to you.
Oh, you can't bring up the right to silence in a trial. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't know then. It does seem like a lot of people choose to be questioned, and the guess is, or like the idea is that it's somehow they think that, honestly, I think they are just overly confident that they could get away with it, and it will add to them being innocent. I think it comes from the overconfidence that, like, for sure they won't think they're guilty. Like, they think they can outsmart this person.
You just have to be brave here.
Is my guess.
You have to be brave.
3 hours, 20 minutes, and 26 seconds. The exact amount of time it took for Jennifer to display genuine emotion. The investigator
Holy
would later
crap.
testify this was the first moment the suspect was being authentic. He allows her to fixate on whatever thought brought this on, and remains completely silent for just under 2 minutes.
3 hours and 20 minutes a whole week later after 2 other interrogations, and this is when she cracks. That is so long, man. Yeah, this is Canada, so it might be different with, you know... I have no idea. That's why I said I can't talk on a law perspective.
Sorry, could you? They were supposed to take you? What?
Oh, yeah. Even if you say they were supposed to kill me too, it's an admission that you knew that they were going to be there.
So you were supposed to take the whole family out?
No, just me.
What went wrong?
Oh, I see, I see. They were just... She hired a hitman to murder herself because suicide is... Sorry, I'm sorry. You could have just jumped off the building, but instead you wanted to pay 3 guys to try to take you out. Why would it take 3 people to take out this tiny lady?
The detective now has one foot in the door. It's not an outright confession, but
It's gonna take 3 full-grown men in the middle of the night in order to take me out, and I'm gonna pay them to do it.
Jennifer has now admitted to planning the home invasion all along. And although she asserts that she was
The
the
2
intended
other ones are for moral support. That's crazy.
target, while her parents were meant to be spared, the information she has now given is enough to place her under arrest.
Yep, because she admitted that she was the one who called them.
Jennifer is no longer going home after this interview. The detective now presses for more information on the amended storyline. It's essentially step 1 of day 1 all over.
The head patting. You ain't leaving now. You ain't leaving now, sweetheart.
But from a more powerful position. He knows she is still lying, and now locks her into as many lies as possible within the new narrative.
Yep.
What happened?
Because now her lying, if she makes up a whole other story, proves that she, like, is capable of lying. And that's enough. Yeah,
Why
he
did
can't
it
get any
change?
closer to her now. I think there's a woman behind that bald head. Somewhere.
Okay, what do you know? How come it was supposed to be you? Okay, you made mistakes, but nothing that couldn't be corrected. So who did you get to do this then?
I don't know who he is. I just got his number.
Okay, and what's his number?
I don't memorize it.
No, it's okay. We'll just check your phone. Oh, don't worry. Just give us your phone number.
She skirts around the questions surrounding her accomplices and gives multiple fake names. She stated that she got the number of the supposed hitman from an acquaintance named Rick, and that she took everything from there over the...
Oh, man! Wait. Hold on, somebody remember the timestamp. 1:17:53. Can somebody remember that for me? I just want to point something out real quick, okay? Just 1 second. Just hear me out. Hold on. God damn it, where was that road? Wasn't it Dick Road? We were on Dixon Hill. Dixon Hill, and Rick was the one who she called. Rick was the hitman the whole time. It's all coming together. Oh, the Rick's on Dix Road, bro.
And that she took everything from there over the phone. It becomes apparent she doesn't want to give up, or even mention her boyfriend. So for the time being, the detective allows her to recount her amended narrative in the manner she pleases.
So what did you ask him to do then?
Come take me out and then leave.
God damn it, Rick.
Why did they do it when you were, when your parents were there then?
Never alone. In the nighttime.
Okay. So that meeting you had with Rick, you told him what you wanted?
No, I just said that I wanted, if he knew anybody who could take care of something that I needed.
He said what?
Yeah, that was what you needed was him to take yourself out with 2 other guys? Okay.
Here's the number.
Did he have the number with him that day?
Yeah, she has not looked him directly in the eyes once, by the way. She is hunched over. She will not look him in the eyes while admitting this. Like, that is a huge difference in body language.
What did he say he would do?
He's just like, let me take care of it. Let me do me.
So he does come into the house, and you're the obvious only young girl there, right? Okay. When he came to your room,
I don't know. She said to off, off herself. She's a young girl, but I didn't know what. So I figure there's 2 other people in the house. And when I came in, so those must, he got a participation trophy. One of those has got to be the right target, right?
what discussions did you have with the guy that came to your room? The real discussions you had, not what you told us.
Where was the money? And I showed him where the money was.
Okay.
That is the story she is telling. Like, he just could not tell. Like, you said what, 20-something-year-old girl? I'll just take out the one, the 50-year-old man and woman or something. Yeah, it'd be close enough, right? As long as I get the payout. I don't know where those are the 2 first things I saw. One of them's got to be right.
But he obviously said, I'm here to do what you asked.
He never said anything like that.
What did he say?
Just like hands behind your back.
Did he discuss ways with you how he would do it?
No.
Did you request any way for him to do it?
To make sure no one else was around.
Okay. Why didn't they do it the way you wanted?
I don't know. I asked them.
Man, I asked for a number 9, a number 7, and like they didn't even give me a number 4, and they gave me a salad. I don't know how this could happen.
They were keeping me with my mom when they took them away.
It doesn't seem to make sense.
I know.
I get a patricide with a side of fries. Jesus Christ. Oh.
It makes sense to me. Because I was supposed to be.
Okay. Can you sit up for a minute, Jen? Okay, look at me.
The detective wants an outright confession, and the second direct confrontation is about to commence. Only this time it will be a lot more aggressive, as he doesn't have to worry as much about the suspect locking up or requesting counsel. She is under arrest and going to jail.
She can't leave. She can try, but she can't leave.
For this interrogation, no matter what.
Look at me. Okay. What I do believe. Look at me. Okay. What I do believe is that you went to somebody. And I do believe that night you paid them the $2,000. But what's not true is it was never for you. Okay, Jen, no. Okay, you went to this person and you asked them to do a job. And the job was for your parents.
He sounds like he's leading her on. Okay, well, that could be said about any interrogation, to be fair. They're going for a confession.
You asked them to do this job on your parents, Jen. Okay?
Yeah, they also got the like her dad even said that her story was untrue. After a few days, he recovered enough to say what happened. They're like she has enough counts against her that it's not a matter of wondering if she, is completely innocent in this at this point.
Let's be truthful. Okay? Nobody's going to come there and get the wrong people. You made a specific request, and the job was for your mom and dad. Okay? Nobody's going to come in there and do the wrong job. Okay? Nobody's going to do that. They came, you paid, and they did what they were supposed to do. And the plan was for your parents. Okay? Jen, you have to be honest about it. This is the only thing that's in contention here. Okay? You made the mistake, okay? Everybody understands. Everybody in this police department feels sorry for you. I can tell you that right now, okay? Because they've seen what you're going so obvious, okay? That all this tension they put out, basically this is like a volcano, all right? And at one point it was just too much and you erupted, okay? And you made a bad decision, okay? And once you hired this guy, there was no turning back. Now, in the original story, you said that you hid your cell phone. Okay? If it was for you, you wouldn't have hid your cell phone.
Bro, I'd be so annoyed if I was... this is why I could never do this. You have to have the patience of a saint to be doing this for 4 hours straight. Oh my god, I'd at least be hangry by now if I was putting in this much effort to somebody who wouldn't even look me in the face. I'd be like, look at me when I'm talking to you, lady.
Would have never happened. So it's in conflict.
It's not kidding. It's just I put it there naturally.
Okay.
It's what I naturally do.
Okay, but you said on tape that you hid it there and that they didn't know about it.
True. Yeah, he's pointing out her inconsistencies.
That's your language, not mine, Jen. All they wanted was so much success out of you, they were not even looking at you as a person. They were looking for a success story. Instead of just saying, whatever Jen wants is what's good for us.
Bro, the
Whatever
fact that she is
has-
just stonewalling him and has her hand, like, I guess he's winning, right? But I would find this so frustrating after 4 hours, just like, oh my god, just get it over with, lady. Look at me when I would be so annoyed talking to somebody whose head's in their lap and that is, like, silent so long while I tried to get them to just get it over with, man. I'd be way too impatient.
Happy with. As long as she's happy in her life, I'm happy with it. If she wants to work at Eastside Mario's for the rest of her life, that's fine. If she wants to be a piano teacher, that's great. If she wants to continue figure skating, that's wonderful. Why would somebody shoot someone they didn't have to shoot?
I don't know. I can't figure that out.
And actually
And now she sounds annoyed. That's interesting.
not shoot the person they're supposed to shoot.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, why didn't you tell us this that night then?
I was scared.
Scared of what? Telling the truth?
Yes.
The good thing about this is your dad did live. And that went against the plan.
Uh-oh.
If you could make this decision over, you would change it. Okay? You would change it. Right?
Of course. If I knew he was going to get hurt, of course I wouldn't.
Jen, you knew who was going to get hurt. That's the whole issue here.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay,
Okay, that's
but
the
like,
whole
you're
issue.
lying though, right? Like, come on now. Like, come on now. You meant for him to get hurt. You actually just didn't know he was going to come out of it alive enough to to say anything.
Issue here. You gave them the plan for your parents, right?
Yeah, she could have walked in till about 3.5 hours in.
That's all I need to hear.
No.
Jen, tell me what happened.
I told you what happened.
Okay.
She is
All
so
of it.
mad.
You did.
Okay. All you have to do is tell me right now that, Bill, yes, I made a mistake.
Bill, yes, I made a mistake.
This plan was for my parents.
The detective gets no further admission
Man!
from this point forward.
So close. It's so close. Oh well, he got enough. He got more than they would have had without him, for sure. Like he didn't get exactly what he would hope for, right? Like the thing he would hope for is a direct admission, but he got enough to where she can't go home now.
So he leaves Jennifer alone for 3 minutes to play with her hair before he comes back and charges her with first-degree murder.
Okay.
I'm back. Now you can't leave.
Listen close to me, okay, Jen? At this point in the investigation, okay, I'm going to be arresting you for murder. Okay? Also,
He says it just like he said everything else. He has the same inflection as what he asked her about figure skating.
attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Do you understand that? Just have to tell me if you understand those charges. Just say yes or no. Yes. Okay. So what we're going to do right now is, do you have your own lawyer?
No.
No? Okay. Do you have a lawyer you would like to speak to that you know of?
No.
Okay. Would you like to speak to duty counsel?
I just want to talk to someone who can help me understand.
Okay, so who would that be?
I don't know.
Well,
So do you have a lawyer?
You said that you were on my side. And I was,
Okay, I am on your side, Jen. What would you like to do?
yeah, he did say earlier that nothing surprises him. True.
I don't have any idea what to do.
Do you want me to call duty counsel for you? Okay. Or is there any other lawyer that you would like? Okay. So at this point, you wish to speak to duty counsel then?
Sure.
Okay. So what I'm going to have to get you to do is actually empty all your pockets on the table here.
Yes, an appointed lawyer is a duty counsel. It's like when they assign one to you.
I'm going to make sure that they're making a call to duty counsel, and we'll line that up, and you can speak to the duty counsel in private, okay? We've made a call to duty counsel, and we're just waiting for them to call back, okay? Need a drink of water or anything? What's that? I do have to go and speak to these officers, but I'll come back and speak to you, okay? But we got to take care of the lawyers, okay?
It is really interesting that I thought maybe she was faking the fear of being alone, but I don't think she is.
Okay.
She does not want to be alone with her
Jennifer
decisions.
would see this detective would be when he testified at.
Sorry, I talked over him. I said she really does want to be alone with her decisions.
Okay, that's the priority right now. Okay.
The next time Jennifer would see this detective would be when he testified at her trial. It began on the 14th of March, 2014, and Jennifer pled not guilty to all charges. Her interrogation tape was one of the more damning pieces of evidence put forward by the prosecution. Yet the most damning were the 116 text messages between her and her boyfriend in the 6 hours leading up to the murder.
Oh, man. Yeah, they probably got reasonable cause enough to look through her phone at with all of the stuff that she told them.
Thought using burner phones to communicate would cover their tracks. Yet
dang.
Forensics were able to uncover the entire discussion just 1 month after the incident. They spoke in detail about how the crime would be carried out, and it was enough to convict them both, as well as each of the intruders who were linked to the crime via DNA evidence and witness testimony. They were all found guilty of first-degree murder and given a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 25 years. Jennifer Pan is now 34 years of age. She is currently serving her sentence at the Grand Valley Institution for Women in Kitchener, Ontario. She will be first eligible for parole in November of 2035.
Yeah, she's not out yet. She's still got another 9 years before she's eligible for parole. Some of these topics are dark, which is why I don't, why I don't do them all the time. If we like them, I might do them more often, but I have to be in the right mood for it, because obviously it takes a different type of thinking than when I'm just doing memes and stuff.